everybody. Welcome back.
Hi.
So, Elf, you're doing a great job, by the way, at being the bamboozled member of the party. I'm
Totally
your-
looking forward to when it comes to levels of
Yeah.
betrayal. It'll be
You
fun.
betrayed me.
And I mean, I've said you don't have to keep secrets out of game to have secrets in game. If you're all playing your characters, that should be the motive.
It's true. I love it. So night has fallen, and we can see. I think probably, in the town itself, there's no necessity for lighting campfires. There are fissures in the earth from which light and heat bleed. So the whole place is, a bit unsettling. It's kind of like seeing this town at a distance, like glowing. Around one such fissure, maybe one of the smaller ones, we see a couple of Phoenix Company guards, and they're sitting now, just kind of like looking out at the plains. The stars have come out, and they're probably like complaining to one another of the heat, right? Like one of them is like, just like, it's so damn hot, and the other guy's like, well, we're on guard duty, we can't take our armor off, but I heard, and he gestured over his shoulder, he said, I heard there are hot springs in the hills. Maybe if we're here long enough, we can take a dip up there. And the other one's like, nah, I heard we were just leaving the commander behind. And the other one's like, what? The commander's not coming with us? And then the other guy shrugs. He's like, I don't know. And they turn, and then we get the kind of like slow pan across out to the field and the moonlight and everything, and we fade over to where y'all are, which is where. What are you up to? What are you doing?
Did we hear that conversation?
No, that was just kind of like all for the benefit of the audience.
All right.
I would say we're getting around behind the town, right?
We're coming. I would imagine we're coming into the town from the opposite direction as quietly as possible.
Right. So you're trying to sneak into the town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And who's leading that effort? Who's the one doing the sneaking predominantly?
Well, I think that Sinethel is the only one who's seen the layout of the town and where the guards are posted, so she would be leading us to avoid wandering into them.
The other thing about Sinethel is if she's leading and she's not shapeshifted, so she can communicate with you appropriately. Mm-hmm. A lot of what she wears makes noise when she walks, like jangles or clatters or anything like that. Not to mention the muddy footprints that just follow her wherever she goes. So she's not exactly without a trace.
Yeah.
However, you have noticed, I would imagine, the two of you, that when she wants to, she can be way quieter than it makes sense for what she's wearing to be.
Cool.
Sort of just everything hushes and we move, So yeah, there's the wet sound of muddy footprints ahead of you in the dark as we sneak into the town and I lead the way.
I imagine they immediately dry on the ground behind us because of the heat.
Because of the heat.
Yeah, it's so warm. Yeah, totally. They're clay footprints.
Or
Oh, God.
I have a plan. Okay, so this town being the whole, it being mine,
Mm-hmm.
I would ask Sinethel, in your reconnaissance, did you see any entrances within the town to the mines? I need to go down there, prepare things.
It isn't safe to go down there. No one could live down there.
Worry not. I am used to the heat. Where I come from, this is gentle autumn at best.
I point sort of between me and Serafina and go, we cannot follow you down there.
No. I shall work some magics below the town. The camp will be disturbed. And as they panic, as they flee, it is up to you to take what advantages you can from the chaos.
Emberlash defended me from the party before. He is strong, and I trust that he can survive whatever is in these mines by himself, but I do not know how Sinethel and I, together, alone, will be able to handle armored men.
As you say that, I heft the spear that I'm holding in my, sort of like lift it a little just to say like I have a weapon, and say, stay close to me. You'll be safe.
Cool. Okay. So you wanna split up and you wanna try to find a way into the into one of the fissures and like into the burned out mines below.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
I would like.
So let's talk about salamanders.
Mm-hmm.
Are you have a what's the salamander racial ability that you have?
Non-magical heat and fire can't harm me.
Right. Okay. So
I'm
now
gonna be
the fire itself is, I think, non-magical. The source of the fire, like you wouldn't be able to go and just like grab a handful of this, exothermic rock that's down there. But the fire that's burning off of it is just like the air. It's just oxygen burning.
It's not like a wizard casting something. It's just like
just natural flame. The source is magical, but the fire itself isn't.
okay.
Okay.
So I
think if you, it's not too hard in that because if you're approaching from the hills, it's not too hard to find a fissure that you could slip into to get down in there. Is that what you want to do?
Yep. What I would like to do.
Okay, sure. All right, so Emberlash slips away to find a subterranean entrance, and Seraphina and Sinethel, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna wait for a sign, or?
So he said he was gonna like make some kind of commotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get as close as possible without it being risky, so that when that sign happens, we are ready to capitalize.
Okay. Well, let's say this then.
If that's okay, Bleach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if the two of you,
I'm obviously terrified and weak,
and that is how I see you. So it's very much like stay close behind. Like don't go anywhere, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. So Sinethel, you're gonna protect Seraphina, keep her hidden.
Can I like be attempting to like make use my lute to make like opposite and like noise canceling sounds to like make us quieter?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Like
Totally.
noise canceling headphones. Like I opposite strum. So the sounds that we are making that I'm like feeling, I like opposite strum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that sounds like an application of your arcane art, and I think what we'll do in this case is because like with your arcane art, you're weaving your performance into a spell that you can heal, you can improve damage, you can shake someone's mind clear of an enchantment, you can make it easier to aid them. So I think in this case it's less a use of your arcane art and more you're defying danger by using your magic, and the danger is that you get caught, right? So why don't you defy danger with charisma?
Okay.
And Sinethel, you're using more mundane means to stay hidden, right?
Stealth, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would roll charisma.
Yep. So you roll charisma, and Sinethel rolled dex. Nice, perfect. All right. So, so you're able to remain hidden from the guards of the Phoenix Company. They don't spot you for the time being. You're able to stay hidden at least until whatever it is that Emberlash decides to do. So meanwhile, we will cut over to Emberlash, and we go from the sort of gray, like cloud-studded sky of the upper world, ash sort of drifting down from the peaks, to like a hellish scene of what was maybe at one point a mine. Only the stoutest of the like wooden beams that were used to hold up the walls and the ceiling here still remain. Everything else is just burning. There's very little air. There's heat everywhere. It's the wavering visions of heat, and then just fire. The rocks themselves just are aflame. So reds and oranges and white flame burning around your feet as you move.
Yeah.
And he's like walking along and like touching the walls and scraping them with his claws, like leaving like white marks. His like serpentine tongue is like licking out like at embers and stuff as they fall from rafters. He like loves it.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So you're moving around in the tunnels below the town. What do you want to do down here?
Well, my grand plan is to bend the flames that reside down here to my will and cause them to erupt from the fissures in the ground, like burning the town and specifically the area of the camp.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's make a move. When you bend flame to your will, you roll plus wisdom. And what does that look like? Do you need to find like the core of the fire? Do you speak to the flame? Is it just exerting your will over the fire? What does that look like?
Yeah, I need to like go around. Maybe part of like the tongue flicking out is it like tests the ambient temperature, and I'm like homing in on like where it's hottest. And I think with my flame powers, it's, as we said, all about sacrifice. So I find like a core of heat in the fissures below the camp. That's where I take out my ashes and I like sprinkle them into the fire to like imbue them with my own power so that I can manipulate them.
Nice. Cool. So there's a bit of like a ritual approach. All right, let's see how well you do. Go ahead and roll plus your wisdom.
Okie.
Oh
No.
dear. Uh-oh. Mark experience.
Oh.
So I think what happens as you're moving through the tunnels, you get closer to the town as one does, and you find a place that you think you can like channel the fire upward, and as you begin to do so, you begin to bend the fire. You notice sparkling. At first, it's just the edges of your vision, but then you start to see like runes that sort of float in the air. Like countering your magic, and they begin to flicker, and I think you see a symbol in front of you. There's a bright flash, maybe like a sort of whirlwind effect, and some kind of like magical guardian is like conjured in front of you. It looks like a bunch of sort of floating pieces of like crystal in a vaguely like human shape. It's about 5 feet tall, quite broad at its shoulders. There's a big sort of faceted crystal floating where its head would be. And in the center of its like crystalline mass, there is a rune like hovering there. Your attempt to conjure the flame has alerted this thing, and it's like put itself together. And what are you gonna do? You see it form in front of you.
I'd take some of that flame that I was like trying to ignite, trying to mold, and instead I repurpose it and I use my burning brand to coalesce it into a weapon of pure flame.
Sweet. Okay. Roll plus your constitution.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez. All right. So on a miss,
it's a hit. It's a 7.
Oh yeah, it is a 7. You're right. You gotta fumble. So okay, you can choose one thing. So by default, the burning brand is fiery. Obviously, it's made of fire. It has the touch tag, which means you have to like physically touch someone to be able to use its damage, and it is dangerous. So if you miss whenever you use it, I can say it backfires or causes some unusual damage. And then lastly, it has 3 uses, so you can use it 3 times. Now you can, if you want to, choose one of the 4 additional options. What would you like to do?
Yes. I would like to make it +1 damage. I think there is so much fire here that I can harness some of it to increase its potency.
Okay. All right. So still touch, still dangerous, 3 uses, but now you have this powerful burning weapon. So what does it look like? Are you just like pulling fire from the walls and touching this? You're gonna touch this thing with it, or do you have like a sword made of flame? What does all that look like?
I think it's like I think I have kind of like claws that will like hold the heat in. So yeah, it's going to be like melee attacks with these like draconic-y claws, but there's maybe like the fingernails themselves are like burning, and if it was any like mortal creature, it would just like catch your flame.
Cool. Super hot claws. I like it. All right. So your claws begin to glow, and this thing starts to like lumber towards you menacingly.
Okay.
So before we see the results of that, let's cut back upstairs. So under the moonlight, this sort of snow of ash drifting down on you into your your cover. Y'all can see from here. I think you've got a pretty clear shot at the like tent that the commander that General Zara went into.
Mm-hmm.
She's been in there for a while. Basically like the end of the daylight and several hours into the night. And I think that as you're watching, you notice a group of people led by General Zara emerge from the tent. So she comes out first and holds the tent open, and you can see now that as opposed to before, she has her sword. She has her sword pinned at her hip, and she has her helmet under her arm. She holds the door open, and you see 2 more figures emerge. There's a man wearing like leather armor. He has a long cloak on, and he has like short brown hair, a scarred face, and next to him is a like a wolf. He's got this like wolf companion that like follows him out. So he comes out and he nods kind of sternly to the general, and then behind him you see a halfling come out of the tent. The halfling is wearing sort of plain-looking clothes. He's got like a little like half cape and a bandolier of knives, and of course no shoes. And he's smiling and seems to be making a joke. He's too far for you from you to hear what he's saying, but he's like laughing about something. And then lastly, you see an old man. And this is the cloaked figure you saw before. He's wearing the same heavy cloak. This like old man leaning on his staff comes out of the tent looking stern, and he is what's the vessel that the acorns are like kept in? Is it like something?
I guess it would be sort of like like some kind of box would be okay. Like very designed box. If they stole it from the swamp elves, like the vessel, and they didn't just take the items themselves. So
yeah, it wouldn't just be a bag of you. It would be like
it would be like a relatively small chest, sort of yay size, with lots of sort of inscribed markings all over it that have significant meaning and say things, in the swamp elf runic language,
right,
that are like blessings of prosperous growth to the young ones and so forth, like on the box.
Cool. Yeah. So this old man is
inside. It'd be dirt and acorns. Right?
Yeah, he's carrying
swamp dirt.
Yes.
So he's carrying the sacred vessel under one arm, and he's leaning on this long sort of twisted wooden staff, and he looks. He has the look of a man who's about to undertake something dangerous, and he has this kind of like, I'm too old for this shit kind of like look on his face, and he's kind of like rushing like the halfling along, being like, all right, let's go. And they seem to be like headed. The 4 of them seem to be headed somewhere.
You By the way, Serafina, you hear like an audible gasp when this case becomes sort of visible, because there it is, the thing we've been looking for.
I pretend. Well, I probably wouldn't. Would I have seen? I probably wouldn't have seen it before because I didn't go in.
Yeah, maybe not. And if they're moving away off to do something, immediately I'm following as quietly as possible, but I'm following.
Okay. Yeah, you'll have to go into the town to follow them. 'Cause
And I would do that.
yeah, they seem to be headed north towards the like through the town towards the mountains.
Didn't we come through the town? Wouldn't they pass by us and then?
You guys are you came like this way towards the town, and they're going this way.
Oh, okay.
We were still in the process of circling, I guess, when we, like, the town, are we talking, like, the town, that little house is, like, the town's, like, on a parallel to the mountains?
Yeah.
Streets?
It's sort
Okay.
of nestled in the hills, and you want it to be to the side so you could kind of, like, see the
Okay, so they're headed straight into the mountains.
Yeah, so y'all
They're
are
leaving
here.
the
Y'all are
town.
here, and they're leaving the town under cover of night to head into the mountains.
Okay. I would follow after Sinethel.
I seem to have forgotten that I need to defend you. Basically, like I move immediately and like follow these people. And you can tell like I'm laser focused on like getting back what has been stolen. You know.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, what do you do when Sinethal does that? Sinethal leaves.
I am obviously like, okay, we're going this way now. I'm kind of grateful that we don't have to try and attack 30 armed people, and instead it's a party of like, what, 4? So if they're already leaving the rest of their group, then yeah, I'm much more inclined to just fight with 4 people. I'm still playing the lute to try and like cover our tracks, but I guess I'm like looking around because she's obviously not paying attention to whether or not there's people coming like from any other direction to look at us. So I am looking around and trying to make sure that her lack of stealthiness is not noticed by anybody, I guess.
Okay.
It's not necessarily a lack of stealthiness. It's just like I'm very focused on getting towards these people.
Are you only concerned with them now? Like, are you still paying attention to whether someone else is seeing you?
No.
Or?
Well,
Yeah,
I
like,
mean, no, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to whether someone else that you're
Okay,
just not
all right.
paying attention to
I got
is
you.
noticing our presence.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think
So waiting for whatever Ember Lash was gonna do.
Yeah. So I think let's cut back down to the tunnel. So the crystal entity, this little thing, is coming towards you. It's crystalline hands extended. What are you gonna do? It's got quite long arms. It's fairly large, but kind of stout.
Yeah. I think I hiss angrily. I bare my claws and I attack an enemy in melee. I hack and slash it.
Okay. All right.
And you go for it. You kill it.
Hack and slash.
Yeah, you leap at the creature. Let's see how that goes.
Hank and
Hack and
slash.
slash.
Get him, Hank.
Okay, and since I've created it with my burning brand, I can use my intelligence instead of strength or dex.
That's right, exactly.
So, I attack, I deal damage, but I take some in return.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I mean, I think it's you scrap with the creature. You keep it from hurting you. It doesn't actually. I'm not going to deal you any damage. You can roll your damage, then I'll tell you what move it makes. So
Okay,
go ahead and roll your damage.
Yeah, D8 plus 1 because I took that on my hold.
That's right.
5 damage to it.
Okay. All right. So this thing, it's pretty hard to hurt because it's made out of crystal. Your claws, however, empowered by your burning brand, slash through the crystal. Cracks start to form in its shell, and you hurt it, but it's still holding together.
Okay.
And you said you did 5 damage to it.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So there's the sound of like over the rushing flame. You can hear the clinking sound of like little bits of crystal like falling to the ground, and the rune in its center like pulses with light. And I think that from we cut over to the outside, and Sinethel, you have one eye on these characters that are moving up towards the hill. The old man stops suddenly and like kind of like as if he's heard something, like leans on his staff and like turns, and you see him begin to like he tucks the actually I think he's given the box to like a hireling. There's a guy with like a big backpack that's following them along. Yeah, he's handed their hireling the box, so he's got one hand free, and he starts to like whisper and like wiggle his fingers, and you can see these like blue kind of like trails coming off of his finger. He seems to be casting a spell of some sort.
Okay. How far away are we from the other members of the Phoenix Company right now?
The closest group of them, you can see like a group of guards, I think sitting by one of the like vents, like warming their hands over this like sulfurous vent. And they're like pretty far. Like they would hear if anybody like shouted out loud, but you got your stealth thing before, so they can't see you. They don't know that you're there.
Okay. He's casting a spell. I think I need to interrupt him. So I look back. If you're still following me, aren't you, Seraphina? Yeah. I look back to Seraphina. I gesture like, sort of with my chin over towards the mage casting a spell, the wizard of some kind. And then I take off at like a crouched low sort of bolt towards him.
Oh God. Okay.
Snake-like charge through the grass, if you know what I mean. Like and try and spook him, like just to like get him to stop casting.
Are you charging as an elf? Or
yes, I as an elf, but sort of like quickly in barefoot, and I'm just trying to describe. As an elf with my spear out, I sort of come up towards him and try and sort of stop him from casting without striking him,
While she's like barreling at this guy, can I like try and discern like what he's doing?
Yeah, you can take a minute to study the situation. Sure.
Yes, I would like to.
Let's have you do that, and then we'll talk about what happens when the two of them.
Okay, so it would be a discern realities on a person, right?
Yeah, you're just gonna roll plus your wisdom.
Okay.
Oh dear, that's not good. Okay, all right.
You get XP.
Yeah, Mark.
I do.
Mark experience. You get a point of experience.
Just by the by, I assumed when he looked up, like he'd heard something, he'd noticed us, and he was casting something to do with us, which is why.
Yeah,
of course.
That's a reasonable reason or a reasonable thing for your character to think, because you don't know what's going on with the little magic guardian underground.
I do not.
Yeah, no, the secret alarm went off, and he's like, "Wait, what?" So okay, I'll get to your failure in a second.
My failure.
But let's see what happens. So, Sinethel, you are like running through the grass. We get the long grass kind of like flying past you. You're hunched down, and then you get within a few yards of the wizard, who's like channeling some spell. His eyes are glowing with a blue light, and then you want to just kind of like try to interrupt his magic.
Yeah, okay. I make my best impression of like that hiss that crocodiles make as they sort of like emerge. My best sort of crocodile hiss and like spear stab like away from his face. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think to be able to do this, you have to defy danger first, because the danger is that this is a wizard and he's used to being attacked and probably has magical defenses. And it sounds like you're using your natural like speed and agility to overcome this problem. So yeah, go ahead and roll plus your dex.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So you get the thing that you want. And so he's casting the spell, and suddenly, yeah, there's this like elf like leaps towards him, and I think he has to turn the magic from whatever it was he was casting into like a defensive spell. So he like turns, holds his hand out to you, and you bounce off of like a sudden like blue purple shield that appears in front of his hand. Like he turns that on you, and you get knocked aside and down into the grass. But you've interrupted his magic. Meanwhile, further away, you can see Serafini. You can see that the wizard has repelled this attack, and they don't appear like that. It's got the attention of the other characters, and they look like they're gonna approach and try to like talk Synethel down rather than counterattack. This is gonna be a like. This is their so Synethel is on her own, away from you, surrounded by these people who are probably about to be like, no, hold on, everything's okay, like we're on your side.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I'll give you a second to think about how you want to respond to that. Meanwhile, tangling with the crystal entity downstairs, Emberlash, what are you doing?
Meanwhile, in the basement.
Yeah, meanwhile, in the fire basement.
I either just go for it again, or I think I just go for it again.
You want to try to keep tangling with this thing?
Yeah, I just need to fight it and kill it.
Okay.
I have rage and anger. That's in my demeanor. And once they're sparked, you can't really let it go until it burns out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
So there we go.
Nice. Okay. Now, on a 10 plus with Hack and Slash, you have a choice. You can deal an additional d6 damage, but if you do, you're exposed to danger or harm because you overextend yourself a little bit. Or you can just deal your damage, and I don't get to make any kind of move.
Oh, I'm absolutely gonna
do the extra.
Like, you can't make progress without sacrifice, and sometimes it's your own scales that are gonna get burnt. So. Let's get it.
Okay.
D8 plus D6 plus 1.
Nice.
I do 9 damage.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. The thing is you're gonna take some damage in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any armor?
I do not.
Okay. So you'll take 6 damage. From the creature, and you destroy it. You destroy this magical construct, but in the process, either it like bludgeons you or scratches you, or maybe when it dies, it causes some damage. What does that look like?
Yeah. So I dig my claws into it, and the energy that's keeping it together erupts outwards, and like the shards like fly at me and like strike me and like cut across the areas that aren't covered with scales, and I get like impaled by these little crystal shards.
Cool. Okay.
But like as I'm doing that, I've like absorbed through my claws like the arcane energy, and I'm just like turning it and I'm like harnessing it in as I'm getting like cut up and like bloodied from the crystal itself.
Nice. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So you've defeated the wizard's like protector construct, and back upstairs. Have you decided what you're going to do, Serafina?
I'm gonna try and can I use aid or interfere here and like try and interfere with Synethel's like attack? Like she's already over there. Like I don't know. Like can I like call out for her to help me as though I'm being like injured in some way, like feign like something over here to get her to like turn around and like
I mean you can shout and do all you like. I mean the aid and interfere would be something that you would,
if she was close enough to me.
Well, you can roll it after someone has made a roll, but the thing with Synethel's Defy Danger is it's so high that even with a -2 it's still a success.
Okay.
Right. She's above your ability to interfere with that roll, but you have a chance to react to what you're seeing is about to happen.
Okay. Like
how
I
you do
see
that
that
is
they're
up to
about
you.
to like try and like, hey, like, so I want to like, I need to get her attention on me.
Hmm.
Um, and I think the way I'm gonna do that is, yeah, like shout as though like I'm in this helpless prey in danger, like someone's come at me while she was not looking at me or not paying attention to me. Like I'm gonna try and uh, just like what is it? Deceive her
Sure.
into like coming to my rescue or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess Sinithel, that's what you hear, right? You bounce off the wizard's shield, and he's looking down at you with this look of puzzlement and like a little bit of anger, right? Because you don't attack a wizard. He's like, who is this? He isn't fully processed like what's going on yet, and that's when you hear Sinithel panic. There's this sound of fear.
Yeah, I imagine like the bounce off in that charge is like bounce and then like sort of push back and then just roll back into the grass and then stand up.
Yeah, you're like
You know?
crouched down. Totally.
And I hear Seraphina shout and I look over. Like, what do I see?
So what's interesting is the shout attracts the attention of 3 of the Phoenix Company guards too.
Mhm.
So what you see, Sinatha, when you turn around, is where Seraphina is. There are 3 guards that have stood up and like drawn their swords and are like headed in that direction.
My immediate response to that is to like whip my spear around towards Zara if she's close enough. Because you said they were sort of like moving towards me.
Yeah. I mean, not
It's-
like rushing, but you've
No,
gotten
no,
you've
but
gotten
they're
all
like
their attention.
they're walking towards me, and they don't look like they're gonna attack me immediately upon.
I mean, Zara's like got her hand on her sword.
Sure.
The like ranger has an arrow that he's like knocked. Like they've all like leapt into action.
They're ready, yeah,
Yeah.
but you said they looked like they might talk.
They
You know?
look like they're waiting for word like of what to do, but they're definitely like all this is happening very quickly. So
Yeah. So as it's happening quickly, this is what I do. I whip my spear around towards Zara, and I say, "Call off your men now." Before. I want her to
Poor
shut.
helpless Seraphina.
Basically.
okay,
And
so
I mean, I know I'm outnumbered, but I'm trying to be threatening. I've got my spear up and I'm crouched down and I've got like, the messy dreads and stuff of a swamp elf. Like they would definitely recognize that I was a swamp elf,
Sure. So the sort of grizzled looking ranger says to the wizard, he's like, "We have no time for this." And the wizard looks at him and he nods and says to Zara, he says, "We have to go." And he turns to you and with a look of kind of like patronly sort of sadness, like this is gonna hurt me a lot more than it hurts you. He holds his staff up and it starts to glow, and he begins to cast another spell. I think he says before he starts to enchant, he says, he's like, "This will all make sense in a few hours. I'm sorry, I don't have time to explain it to you." And he starts to cast his spell, and you can feel like arcane energy in the air.
The crackle of arcane energy.
So what are you gonna do? He's gonna try to cast a spell to like restrain you or something.
Okay. It worked before. I startled the wizard and got him to lose his focus. So I feel that I'm going to do that again. This time, however, I am going to jump into the air, moving towards them, and shapeshift into the crocodile I was mimicking, and try to just like land on him.
Okay, so before you can shapeshift, you're going to have to resist the wizard's spell. So, because you're trying to shapeshift despite the spell being cast on you, so you are defying that danger. And I think in this case, you're just defying it with your. I think you're defying it with your constitution in this case, because he's physically using magic to restrain you. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So you got a 7 and 9. So I'm going to offer you a hard bargain.
A hard bargain. All right.
Yeah. So you'll get the thing you want, right? You'll be able to avoid the spell. I think though, here's what'll happen. So you can avoid having the spell casting. You can shapeshift. You can engage the wizard. But you're not going to be able to keep the rest of them here. So the hireling, Zara, the ranger, and the halflinger, they're gonna leave. You'll waylay the wizard, but he'll have to stay here, and
Okay.
they'll leave with the acorns.
All right.
Okay, so go ahead and make your shapeshift roll.
Okay, that's with my wisdom. Pew.
Nice. Okay, so you can hold 3. What does the crocodile do?
Snap things really badly with teeth.
So let's see. So like crocodiles, they're not really big on. They're like, it's about like biting to like restrain something, right? Not like they don't like chomp on you a bunch of times. They
No,
like grab
no,
you and
it's
like shit.
but it'll hurt you real bad, you know. You get
Okay.
chomped on one
That
of
is
those.
not pleasant. No.
Okay, so like with restrain, with iron jaws.
There's probably something like surprising burst of speed, like they go like crazy over land
Move surprisingly fast.
for a short period. And then the third one would be like a death roll, right? Like if something's restrained, you could just like flip it over around and around and around until it's dead, because that's what they do.
Yeah, I feel like that move falls under the like iron jaws restraining thing. What about like there's like some kind of stealth thing like up here, because they sit really still and people like
Oh,
think
yeah.
they're logs or whatever.
Like camouflage.
Yeah. Stay hidden, maybe. Okay, cool. So you've got 3 hold that you can spend. You change.
I would like to
into-
restrain
change
the
into-
wizard if I can.
Okay. Now the wizard will have a chance to. If you can spend 2 if you want to move surprisingly fast and then restrain him.
Yes, that is what I'll do.
Otherwise, he'd get to as you like come towards him, you get to something. Okay, so you transform, and then just like suddenly he's like he's got a crocodile biting him. You bite into his leg through his robes. He cries out, and now you've got him pinned, and he turns over his shoulder to his companions. Maybe the halfling turns around to look at him, like
No, don't you?
the halfling turns to look at him like, "Oh no, you're being attacked, wizard! What should we do?" And no, he doesn't say it, but there's a moment there. The moment
what?
passes. Well, because he's
Am I missing a reference?
it's
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, the wizard turns and looks at him, and the halfling like nods sternly and turns like there's a more important mission than fighting this crocodile. He's a wizard; he can deal with it. And the group of them they dash up. They just head for the hills.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So Serafina, you now have 3.
Yes, I
Phoenix,
do.
Phoenix Company guards. One of them has grabbed a torch and is holding it over his head. He's got his sword. The rest of them have like sword and shield, and they're approaching, trying to figure out what that scream was about.
I am. I'm going to attempt to parlay with them. I hired these men.
Once, yes.
Yeah, so they probably know me. And I'm going to, out of hearing of Sinethel, I'm going to be like, I paid you and you betrayed me. You will do what I ask of you now, or you will suffer the consequences. You do not know me. You will not harm me.
You don't know me. Okay, so to parlay, you have to have leverage. So leverage is something they need or want. What is your leverage over these guys? Because they were given a higher order to change plans. So
I mean, is it not leverage to have contracted them?
I mean, I don't
Like,
think.
there's no, you guys like betrayed me. Like, don't they have some kind of guilt or anything? Like, I'm not asking them to like betray whoever hired them out. I'm just saying, like, you already like screwed me over. You're gonna do what I say now because you feel bad.
So leverage is your leverage is to alleviate their professional guilt.
I mean, maybe like maybe not professional, maybe even just like personal. Like I'm this pretty lady who was nice and asked them to do something, and then they just got paid more. I don't know. Maybe I didn't pay them their full amount before. Maybe it was like half when the thing's done. Did I like? I feel like that would be smart. Like half now and half when when I get paid, when I get what I paid you to do. So maybe I like say like, if you follow me now, I'll give you the other half of like if you help me now, I will consider.
Yeah, I mean they're mercenaries, so that's certainly more likely. Like if you're like,
Then
look,
feeling bad.
obviously I've got money. Yeah.
Okay.
So the trick with this roll is if you succeed, whether it's a 10 or a 7 or whatever, they're going to ask you for something, and they'll do what you want if you make a promise first. If you promise to pay them, for example, in this case, on a 7 to 9, they're going to need some concrete assurance that you are going to and can pay them like right now.
Okay. And I don't think
You don't
I
have any money on you, do you?
money on me.
Right.
No.
So it's a risk. If you get a 10, they'll be like, they'll reconsider this whole payment situation. But if you only get a 7 and 9, you have no way to give them a concrete assurance. So it basically will be like a failure.
God damn. Okay, I'm gonna try.
You want to gamble?
I think my character would gamble.
Yeah,
like this. Like I don't. Like I can't. I don't know that I could beat 3 guys. Like just physically. Like I would gamble on like I can convince them to do what I say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can certainly try.
Okay.
All right. So you got a 7. You have nothing to like. You're like, look, I'll pay you. Don't. And they're approaching with the torch and their swords, and you're telling them that, look, it's the payday has not even come up, and I think one of them shakes his head and he says, he's like, we don't work for you anymore, not for any amount. And another one is approaching, and he's looking at your weapons, and he's like, just put your weapons down. You're coming with us. So let's cut over to Emberlash. What are you doing?
I think I need to try and work out what that creature was and whether I can use its power that was trying to stop me to like inflict it back on whoever used it or something. I think I'm trying to get a measure of the situation. So
sure, yeah. So you want to discern realities?
Yep, that's the plan.
Okay, all right. So you take a moment in the flame roasted tunnels. Roll through wisdom.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What would you like to
know? What here is useful or valuable to me?
The magic is quickly fading, but the shards of the construct are still tied to the wizard in some way. They're bonded to him. Yeah.
Yep. Who is really in control here? I need to find out about that wizard.
I mean, the wizard's got a crocodile attached to him, so he's not really in control. There's some other higher level conflict going on that's dictating all of the actions that are happening here, and someone that's part of that conflict is in control. Not anyone.
So it's
here.
not the wizard.
No, the wizard's definitely not in control. Someone is giving all of them orders.
There's a really cool move I could get if I leveled up that lets me like look into the fire and see things, but I don't know.
Not yet.
Okay, and I guess what should I be on the lookout for?
You should probably be on the lookout for the real, like, there's all this business going on with the tunnels and upstairs and all this like stuff, but the real threat is that your prize is getting away. It's escaping into the mountains. So you should be on the lookout for losing your quarry.
Okay. Yeah, so I've got these magical shards like embedded in me, and I think Yeah, I'm gonna try and bend flame to my will again, and get and like use the shards as kind of like a catalyst to like. I mean, ideally, go back and burn the person who put them in me originally, but also maybe like trace the ley lines back, trace the essence of magic, like burn up it like a wire or something, and show me the way out.
Fuse. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so you're gonna use the fire as like a feedback mechanism. Okay, cool. So roll plus your wisdom.
Yep.
Nice. All right. So I think you can do your damage to the wizard.
Cool.
Okay.
Full damage.
All right. So there's damage for the wizard. So we'll cut back to the crocodile. You know, you've got this wizard. He's like down on one knee, you're like biting into his leg. He's holding his staff, like crying out, and you see the blue glow in his eyes. Like flicker and go out for a second, and then he shouts in pain as his eyes glow like white and then red, and like fire kind of like erupts from his eyes, and he like shouts in pain, and you can see his like skin like sizzling, and you feel a sudden like heat well up inside of him.
As I see that, it looks like he's gonna die. Like
He looks like he's in pretty
this is all really bad stuff, and I know that they're getting away, and I have this guy, you know.
And Serafina's back there being accosted.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
One thing at a time.
I'd like to shapeshift out of my crocodile form if I can. I don't know if I need to spend all my hold to do that, or I can just do it when I want to. And sort of as he's like burning up, I want to, with my like knee on him or something, like basically yell like, "Where are they going? You know, tell me!" You know, before I lose the trail entirely, sort of.
Okay. So I mean, I feel like you're trying to parlay as well, right?
I mean, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, you're gonna parlay. Your leverage is.
My leverage is I'm going to kill him if he
I'm
doesn't.
gonna hurt you, you dumb old wizard. Cool. Okay. So go ahead and roll plus charisma.
Oh god, I got a -1.
Oh dear. Okay. All right. So you unleash the wizard. You like take your jaws out of him and turn back into your form. Start to shout at him, and he responds to your shouting with a blast of magical energy in the face. He arcane missiles you.
Oh.
So
of course.
Let's see here. You're gonna take 4 damage that ignores armor. And yeah, there's just this blast of light from his hands, and we can see it. I think we see him like cast the spell, and he shouts and points his hand out. Light emerges from his hand, and then we cut to the like just the town from a distance, and this kind of like super concentrated beam of light just goes like we can see it on the clouds. And he just like blasts you with light, and and then stands and turns, and his cloak like flutters behind him, and he like runs off after his runs off after his friends. Serafina, what are you gonna do? There's these guys approaching, and you're like, put down your weapons.
I'm not gonna just let them take me. I think that the main thing is that I don't want any of these people speaking to Sinethal about knowing me. And if I'm a hostage, like they can do whatever they like. So I'm going to take out my rapier and attempt to attack them back, like all 3 of them. Like I don't even care if I like. Yeah,
you're just like have at me, nerds.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right, sure. Cool. Well, your intent here is you want to try to kill them. That's the plan.
I want to try and like engage them in combat until Sinethal gets back enough to the point where they're not just going to be like, "Hey, this girl, like, she hired us before." So, yeah.
Trying to keep them busy.
I'm just trying to keep them busy. Yeah. I, like, by not like letting them just take me. Like you said, they were just going to take me back.
Yeah, if you don't put your weapons down, they'll probably try to take them from you and like arrest you and take you back into
Okay,
camp.
so that I'm going to attack them. I'm going to just like rapier at them, I suppose.
Okay, all right.
-1 strength.
Yeah, there is that. And you're using a rapier, you said?
Yeah, it was a fine. It was a dueling rapier, close, precise is what it says.
Okay, so when you're using a precise weapon, you use your dex to hack and slash, not your strength.
Oh, okay, that's better than strength then.
So go ahead and roll plus your dex. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. All right, so you do not rapier them. You draw your sword and like, come at me, and they lunge for you, and you slash out at them, and I think maybe you cause some like minor nicks and cuts, but there are 3 of them, and at some point during it, your turn to face one of them, so he doesn't stab you. Another one punches you and like catches you by surprise, and then the other 2 grab you. You're going to take a little bit of damage, and then you're restrained by these soldiers.
Yeah, I figured that was gonna happen anyway, though. So
Let's see. So,
might as well try.
okay, so you'll take 3 damage.
Okay.
Your armor does reduce that.
Oh, so it's 2?
Yeah, so you take 2 damage, and when Sinethel turns to see you, she'll see that you have like a bloody nose, like it's obviously like you've been in a fight. 2 of the guards, one on either side, like holding your arms, and the other one has like taken your weapons off of you, and the 3 of them are walking back towards the camp. Now, are you like kicking and screaming? What are you doing?
I'm definitely unwilling. I think that if I were to appear to just have given up, like, it would be suspect. So yeah, I'm definitely struggling. I don't know if I'm like trying to attract more attention by like actually screaming, but I mean, there's very little chance that Emberlash would be able to hear me from under the ground. So attracting.
There are a lot of fissures.
It's true.
I think I'm just struggling, but not like yelling at the top of my lungs.
Yeah, because that would cause a lot more of them to come pay attention. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you? I guess, Sinethel, what do you do? You see this happening. The wizard has turned to flee.
There's this moment as I'm getting up after getting smashed by that arcane blast or whatever, where I look towards the wizard and he's fleeing in the mountains after his friends, and then I look back and I see that Sinethel is like captured, and there's that moment of doubt where it's like,
You're Sinethel.
Yeah, Seraphina.
My bad, Seraphina. we got S's. Look at the wizard, the back of the fleeing wizard, then look to the captive Seraphina and like swear, and then run back towards Seraphina to rescue her.
Okay. And what do you want to do? Like, how are you gonna rescue her?
Have the guards seen the stuff that's I guess they would have seen the arcane blast and the
Yeah, they know something was going on.
Okay, so I'm going to come quickly, towards them and try and engage the nearest one with my spear, like straight away.
Okay, sure.
Whether that's one holding Seraphina or not.
Yeah, I think the one in the front is one holding Seraphina's rapier. So you can come rush up and leap on that one. Why don't you hack and slash this fellow?
Okay. What am I rolling for that?
It's gonna be rolling plus your strength, unless you have a precise weapon.
I do not.
All right. Nice.
Oh, dang.
All right. So you can either deal just
GG.
your damage, and not have any negative things happen to you, or you can roll your damage plus an extra d6. In which case, I get to have the.
I'm gonna do that. Okay. I'm gonna do the extra damage.
The hack and slash. Devil's Bargain is my favorite. I love it.
How do I know what my damage is?
It is on your character sheet, and it's in the top left.
Wasn't it a D6?
Yeah, it's a D6. It's in the top left. It's empty right now. Just put D6 in that little box.
Okay, it's a D6.
And then click the D20.
What?
Well,
What?
11
did you-
D6.
I might have put 2 1s. My bad.
Just put D6.
Oh, okay.
You don't need the number. Somehow you managed to deal 40 damage to him.
All right, so
That's a different amount of
one,
damage.
but then
Okay, and then you roll again.
I got another one.
Okay, that's the worst.
7. Okay.
That seems to be the way I'm going today. Yeah.
All right. So these guys they have like light armor. So some of the blow is reduced, but yeah, you kill this dude. What does that look like? You deal enough damage to kill him.
So in the same manner that I approach the wizard, sort of like low crouch, speedy movement, all that this guy gets to see before my spear is through his neck is sort of briefly turning towards the sound of pat 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 pat. Whoosh,
Yeah.
you know,
Totally. Like a scorpion stinger. Like he turns and then just suddenly like sharp thing in his face.
Exactly. And then, you know, as his corpse is on the end of my spear, withdraw it and turn to the other two, ready to move as soon as they move.
Yeah. So the other two, they have they both have a hand on one of Seraphina's arms and a weapon. I guess one of them has their sword out because they can't both hold her with their good arm. So the one that is holding you that has no weapon lets go of your arm and goes for his sword. So there's only one guy holding you, Seraphina. You can do something if you want. Their attention is fully on Sinethal.
Okay. Can I don't have my weapon, obviously.
Yeah, the dead guy is holding it.
Can I attempt to defy danger by, I guess, it would be getting out of the way, right?
Well, you tell me what you want, and then we'll figure out what move it is.
I want to, like, I don't want to be, like, captured, obviously. I want to get out of this other guy's hand, because you said only one of them let go of me. But I also don't want them opening their mouths. Like, I don't want them talking to her. So, I'm not exactly a strong person, so I can't, like, just, like, punch him and knock him out. But, I probably the only thing I can do is try and, like, just escape his grasp, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can do. I mean, you do. It's a role playing game. You do anything you want. There's the situation is there's a guy with a short sword in hand and the other hand on your arm. His grip is kind of loose because he's just been startled by one of his friends getting killed in the face. There's a guy on the other side of you, on your left hand side, who's just let go of your arm and is reaching for his sword. Your sword is lying in the grass, like 1.5 meters, 2 meters ahead of you. You can see it, moonlight reflecting off of it. So, you know, you don't have to, it's not like D&D where you just have like an action you can take. You could say like, I pull free of the one guy, spin around, do a thing, and then attack him. Like you can say whatever it is that you want to be doing. So,
can I pull free of the one guy and the guy who doesn't have his like sword out yet? Can I attempt to like, just like jab him in the throat?
Yes.
I want him to not be able to speak.
Yep, totally. That's fine. So yeah, to be able to attack him, you're going to need to first break free from the grip of the guard.
Okay.
You can do so with either your strength or your dex.
Dex would be better.
Yeah, they both feel like reasonable in this situation.
Oh,
So let's see if you
I
can
do
break
it.
free. Oh yeah, you can. No problem. You do
Thank
what
goodness.
you do what you set to do. There's no threat that comes to bear. So yeah, you yank free. The guy kind of like doesn't even really know. Like maybe he like turns a little bit. He's like, "Hey!" As you get away, you kind of turn your shoulder around so you're more face to face with the guy with the sword, and then you want to just
have a
like
sword out yet.
jam him in the
Yeah, I just want to.
chop him in the old esophagus. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. It's not a melee because you're not like attacking. You're not fighting each other. He's not gonna be able to hurt you. So I think you're defying danger, and the danger is that you don't crush his esophagus. So this is a strength roll. This one.
A strength roll?
Yeah, jamming your fingers into his throat hard enough that he can't speak. The danger is that he can keep talking. That this won't work.
Right. Of course.
So roll with your strength. Ooh.
No, I have horrible strength.
Okay.
Bad.
All right.
Bad.
So he's faster. He's faster than you. So what you anticipate, you've got this whole idea in your head of like, okay, I'm gonna pull free, turn around, get him in the throat. But you turn around, he's already got his sword out, and he shoves you hard in the chest, and you fall into the grass. You fall backwards.
Okay.
And he takes a step towards you. Meanwhile, what are you doing, Emberlash? What do you want to do?
I'm like charging through the tunnels to like this sound that's reverberating down through the fissures. I need to get up and I need to help out my companions. I don't know how deep below the ground I am, but I kind of want to just like burst up out with my like fiery claws and just like
Sure.
stomp.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's reasonable for you to just like burst into the scene. So you crawl up out of an existing fissure. Like it's probably small enough that you like have to like shove parts of it aside to get out.
That would be
Yeah.
really scary.
Yeah, totally. Fire demon.
Yeah, and I've now got these like extra shards that are like pulsing with flames as well, just like embedded.
Jeez Louise.
They dug too deep.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's reasonable. And you want to? What do you want to do? You want to like? You still have one use of your fire claws, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you just want to burst up and like leap into melee, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, like hopefully just like burst up behind one of these guys, the one that's got like one of them that's they both got their swords out now, and just like eviscerate them. That seems
Sure.
totally fine.
Yeah. Let's say the one that that just knocked Seraphina down as the one you're closest to.
Okay,
All right.
I'm gonna have him. I'm gonna hack and slash him, I
Yeah, do
guess.
Okay. All right. So I think it's not so much that he gets to attack you. I think it's the process of like birthing yourself from the earth that you have to tear through the rock. Then it batters at your scales. You burst out into the cold night, and you'll take some damage in the process. But then
Okay.
you get to do your damage to him. So you'll take. Okay. So you just take one damage.
I have fighting fire with fire. When you take damage and that damage is odd, the flames within you come to your aid. Roll 1d4 and either add that many uses to your burning brand, take it forward to summon my brand, or reduce the damage by that amount. So I'm going to roll d4.
Okay.
I'm going to take no damage.
Nice. Okay. So, what does that look like? This is just like your own inner rage. Like when you get hurt, you're like, I'm angry that I got hurt. How does that like? Do you get like a shield of fire, or do your wounds like immediately cauterize?
Yeah, I think instead of blood coming out, it like you see it there and it's red, but it comes out like molten blood, and it like you see it like congeal into and it hardens into like the black rock that you see like form after a magma flow, just like
Nice.
really quickly, and it just like turns itself into a new scale.
Cool. All right, and now you get to shred him with hellish claws.
Yeah, so d8 plus 1, so 8 damage.
All right. Same deal. This guy, he is dead. So what does Seraphina see? Because Seraphina sees like a burst of light as you crawl up from the ground, but can't really see you because she's down in the grass looking up at this soldier. What do you do, Emberlash? How do you kill this guy? He's toast.
Yeah, so I come up behind him, and as he's turning, I thrust my like clawed hand up through whatever armor he's got, like straight through him, and like grab onto his insides from the inside, and I just incinerate him. So like this blinding flash of fire.
So
And
this guy
then-
just burst into flame in front of me.
Yeah, and then like as the ashes kind of fall, you just see the top of my head with my eyes like burning with fire, and I think it like oh yeah, that's definitely power I could be. That's the real
I
deal.
think I smile a little bit. I can't help myself, but I hope that Cinephel's not like scrutinizing me. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh.
So
I've got another
I
guy.
was gonna say, so Sinethel, yeah,
Yeah.
you see this this guy. He's drawing his short sword and he's approaching you, ready to get revenge for killing his friend.
I look him in the eyes, and sort of with my spear still raised in that like low posture, I go, like fuck off, like I'll give you this one chance, just
Okay. Yeah, so you're parlaying here, and what you want is for him to leave, him to flee, or you'll kill him. So yeah, roll with your charisma.
He's not gonna play.
Okay, all right. No, I used to make him mad. So take a point of experience. Yeah, he sneers.
Wait, do I get a point of experience for failing on my
Yeah,
strength
yeah,
roll?
you always get a point of experience if you fail.
Okay, well I'm new, so
It's okay. So you see him sneer like angrily at you, and I think you see like in his face, maybe you recognize this guard. You flash back to seeing him like push one of the swamp elf like villagers onto the ground. You have we get a flashback to the invasion of the swamp village, and you recognize this guy for a moment. And yeah, he sneers at you, and he like bats your spear out of the way, and like rushes in and slashes at you with his sword, and you will take some sword damage.
Sword.
You are sworded for 1.
I have armor.
So your hide armor absorbs the slash, and now the two of you are tangled up in melee. And he's inside your spear range, so it's actually going to be hard. Because what's the length on a spear?
It has near.
Okay.
It has. I'll tell you what it has. It has close, thrown, near, and it's 1 weight.
Okay. So he's using a.
But I imagine I couldn't use a spear if he were like right next to me. I totally get that.
Yeah. Well, your spear has near, but his sword has close, which is closer than near. So yeah, you'll have to defy danger to get back in spear range with him.
I also have close on a spear though.
Oh, okay. So you can just choke up on it and
Yeah.
jab him one. Cool.
I mean you could probably just whack him with it like a staff.
Yeah, it depends on how you want to describe it. What do you do? Yeah, he's all like up in your shit.
I shapeshift into a large snake.
Okay. All right. Like a constrictor.
Like
Yeah, it
a
would have.
constrictor snake. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make your wisdom roll.
Do.
Turn into snack.
I am snack.
Okay. So you get 1 hold, right? Or 2. I can't remember how it works.
8 is 2, I think.
8 is 2. Yeah. Okay. What is constrictor? What can a constrictor do?
Well, squeeze.
Squeeze. Yep.
What
else are snakes good at?
I still think I think it's probably similar in terms of like camouflage, like it's that pattern, and in the woods you wouldn't really see it.
Lying in wait.
Yeah, I like that. Lie in wait. Okay.
And I don't know what the third one would be.
Bite, poison, no, constrictor snakes don't really bite.
Constrictors don't have poison, yeah.
What about swallow? I feel like
Yeah.
swallow
Swallow whole.
bite.
Yep.
That's good. I
Okay.
like that one.
All right.
They swallow
I would-
small, tiny rat
I
nose.
would like to spend a hold to squeeze this motherfucker who
Okay.
pushed elf villagers down and is generally an asshole to my people.
All right. So he's tangling with you, and then suddenly you're a big snake, and you just like wrap around him and start squeezing on him. Yeah. Just roll your damage.
My damage.
Yeah. Roll your damage. Okay. All right. So he's gasping for breath. He can't speak because you're crushing his lungs, and he's
good.
He's still alive, but he's just like trying to get free. Serafina, what are you gonna do? You're lying on your butt in the dirt.
I'm lying on my butt in the dirt. I'm very happy that we've killed 2 and disabled the 3rd from speaking. I am probably going to I gather my rapier, but I want to try and defy danger and make it so that no one else is going to hear hopefully anything that I want to use my bow's noise canceling lute and try and keep anyone else from if they haven't heard already from hearing the rest of our encounter.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Make a defy danger roll with charisma. Should use your magic. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So things become kind of eerily quiet, and even though you can see Serafina's fingers moving on the strings of the lute, it's like they're making negative sound, and yeah, things get eerily quiet. That'd be really, really difficult, near impossible to do without really complex, very fast computers and audio equipment or magic. So cool.
Magic is what it is.
Yeah, it's theoretically possible that you could have a thing that makes a noise that is sonically dampening to the sounds that it's hearing, but it would have to work almost presciently to be able to do that.
Well, it's magic.
Awesome. Cool. Good. All right. So you'll keep people from hearing what's to come. And then Emberlash, what do you want to do?
I stalk over to Sinethal and I say, yes, you've done well. This one can still be of use.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's take our break on that.
There.
Let's take our break on that ominous note.
It's so bad.
All right.
So past our break.
Yeah. We'll take a break here. We'll come back. We'll play a little bit more. Stick around. We got more
Okay.
more Dungeon World after this.